What's up YouTube? This is Kyle coming back to you with another video about my shed here today. Had a couple questions on YouTube, just kind of people wanting to know how much the shed costs me and how much I'm making per month and kind of comparing those numbers. So thought I'd give a little breakdown and kind of give you some insight onto what something like this costs and how much money you can make doing it. So getting right into it here, first miner on my list here is my L3 Plus. I bought this on eBay. It cost me, I think it was actually $12.50. So let me change that there. It's $12.50 with shipping. And that was definitely one of my better purchases. I bought that in June of this year, 2021. So right around the time the Dogecoin was really profitable, but not before the miners went up in price again. So that one's been a good money maker. It's been running pretty much flawlessly, minus a couple little hiccups here and there since then. So this one is probably close to paying itself off at this point, honestly. That thing makes about $200 a month, and it's been almost 6 months, so we're getting close. Next miner on my list here is my first S19J Pro. Bought this one right when they were released from Blockforge. It cost me about $6,700 shipped, and it took a few weeks to get there, but once I got it, things been dialed in ever since. I've never had to touch it again. Definitely been a great purchase. I highly recommend the S19J Pros. They're very good machines, and this thing's been consistently making me right around $900 a month, give or take, sometimes less, usually more. So that one's been a really good one. It's been running since the middle of July. Next two I bought together were these additional S19J Pros. Bought both of them, had them shipped from Blockforge. Total was $21,600, something like that. I don't remember. So this might actually be a little bit low, and it might be more like $10,750. I think those two equal, $21,500, about that much, plus or minus $100. So those I bought maybe a few weeks after the first one. Once I realized how good it was and I knew the prices were going to keep going up, I grabbed a couple of those with some extra money I had laying around between different projects I've got going on. So grabbed those. Of course, I'm beating myself up for not buying 5 of them or 10 of them because they were available, and I should have done that. But you live and you learn. Can only spend so much money at once, and this is what I ended up with, was 3 of them. I'm glad I got those 3 at least. The very first rig I built was actually this Ethereum rig. It consists of 4 GTX 1660 Supers, 1 1660, and a 3080. And then it's just a standard open air rig with whatever hardware I could find on Amazon and Newegg. So that totaled right about $5,000 for that. So total cost for all of my miners so far is $34,450. But then we've also got the Antminer L7 that's coming in soon, which we'll talk about that here in a minute. But going over the shed costs, the electrical work for everything was right at $5,000. Sure, could have probably shopped around a little bit and saved a little bit of money, but one of my closest friends is an electrician, so I give him all my business because I want to support his business. So I used him, and he did a phenomenal job wiring everything, so it was definitely worth the money spent there. He helped me bury the trench. We ran the conduit for the power and the Ethernet and fiber lines about 125 feet from my house to where the shed is, and then he wired the 200 amp service inside of the shed, ran all the outlets and everything, pulled all the wires. I actually wired a little bit of it myself, but he did most of it there. And he also redid the 2 panels in my basement and moved over everything for my house onto one panel and put the whole shed on another panel, so that way I could have 2 meters and keep track of the cost for the business more effectively. On top of that, that was just the electrical. The actual shed construction and labor was about $10,000. This ranges from paying a buddy of mine who's a contractor for several days to help me dig the foundation out, dig all the piers, pour all the concrete, build the actual shed, and do all the gravel and grading and digging and everything in between. So between all the materials, all the labor to pay him, the labor to pay the guy to dig the trench, and everything in between, machine rentals and all that, was right about $10,000. I think it was like $9,600. So I'm actually rounding up here, but I'd rather be conservative. So really, we can just call this $50,000. I think that's reasonable. And yeah, so $50,000 for the shed I have, capable of handling 3 times the amount of equipment I have in it. I just haven't bought that much equipment yet because it's really expensive right now, but I do have plans to buy that here in the future. So hopping over to my MinerStat profile here. If you're not familiar with MinerStat, it's I call it a Hive OS competitor. They offer a similar product, but I think they do a little bit better job at it. I've used both, and I really liked Hive OS if I was a GPU miner, but I'm an ASIC miner, and they just give you a little bit more control over your ASICs in this platform. So you can see my 5 workers here. Everything's working well, rarely have any issues. And these are my estimated earnings down here. Daily payout per week and per month, and then it subtracts electricity cost out here, which we'll get into that in a minute. But right now the shed's making around $4,000 a month. It goes up a couple of $100 and goes down a couple of $100 depending on the day, but it's sitting right around $4,000 a month right now, so that's really solid. As for my electric cost, it's probably worth going over my bill at some point, but I'm on an all-electric plan here where I'm at. I'm out in the country, and we don't have any gas lines running to us, so our power company here gives us a discounted electric rate in the winters. So I normally pay 10.5 cents per kilowatt hour during the summer months, which I think is like May through September, or May through the beginning of September or beginning of May. And then the rest of the year from September through late April, early May, it's 7 cents per kilowatt hour for the first 1,000 kilowatts. And then the rest of it is at 6 cents per kilowatt hour. So my house uses about 1,000 per month anyways, so I just take the 6 cent cost and I give that all to the business, just to make it look a little bit better, and so that way if I ever have any issues with taxes, writing stuff off and whatnot, I'm at least claiming the least amount possible. So not that I would, because it's a business and everything, but it'd be better than trying to write off the more expensive stuff. I don't know. It doesn't bother me. It's not that much money. So anyways, that's kind of the breakdown there. That's where we're currently at. But we got to talk about this L7 that's coming in soon. So this thing, I believe I paid right around $23,000 for, let's just say. I don't remember the exact amount, but it was around there. So that really puts us more at like 73,000 maybe. I think it's like 72,000. I think it was like 22.5. So you're right about 72,000 total for all the equipment. And really, this isn't quite accurate because there's probably about another $1,000 of miscellaneous networking gear and shelving and all sorts of random stuff. So, I mean, we could even round up and call it 75,000. That's conservative as heck, but I'd rather be conservative and give you guys real numbers that you can count on than try to skew the numbers and make it look a little better, because that doesn't do me any good. It doesn't do you any good, and I'm trying to be as honest as possible with this stuff here. So looking at the Litecoin calculator for the pool I'm mining to, we've got I got the lower hash rate one of 9.16 gigahash. It uses right around, I think, 3450 watts, And like I said, I'm right around 0.065, I think, kilowatt. But I always like to round up because of fees, and I'm wrong sometimes, and it varies depending on the time of the year. So I like to call it like 0.08 because that's kind of like splitting it in the middle, depending on the time of the year and stuff. So that adds another $4,400 per month of net profit, which is really solid. Really no getting around that one way or the other. So if we take that number, and we'll just get rid of the formatting there, and we take this number here, and we put those together. I messed something up somewhere. Take that number, there we go. Well, 4043. That's weird. You've essentially got $8,500 of net profit per month on a $75,000 investment. And that's roughly $100,000 a year of net profit, which obviously we know crypto fluctuates a lot, and we're probably going to see some drops here in a few months, come around February time, March time anyways. So I'm not anticipating that to be sustainable by any means, but the good thing is that this Antminer L3 Plus is going to pay itself off here before the end of the year. This Ethereum rig is going to be paid off probably close to the end of the year or early next year. That thing's been making about $500 a month for the last several months. So yeah, it'll probably be sometime early next year. I'm definitely planning to break even before we go through the merge with Ethereum, so that's solid there. And then all of these things, they definitely don't pay themselves off as fast. I think we've been estimating around 15 months, I think, for them. Obviously this one's going to pay itself off way sooner than these, but right around, let's see, 11,000 divided by 900. Yeah, they're saying really around 12 months right now, so that's really solid. And then this 6,700 one is only 7 months, so that one will be paying itself off here in a couple months, and these two will be paying themselves off here in the next 6 months. So really solid there. Break evens are all looking really good. We'll get all of our money back before too long. The shed I'm actually writing off probably over the next 5 years or so. I got to talk to my tax guy, figure out exactly what he wants to do, but I'm not going to necessarily count this towards the break even since I get to deduct taxes on it, and that'll save me some money on total cost here with my tax amount I'm going to owe. So anyways, I hope this gives you kind of a good idea of what something like this would cost for you to do as well. I know not everyone has $75,000 burning a hole in their pocket that they want to go spend it on crypto, but I know some of you do, and I know some of you can buy one of these, and that might still be helpful. There's a lot of different ways you can go about doing this stuff, and you don't have to build a shed necessarily. I ran these in my basement of my old house for a month or two, and I mean, it wasn't quiet, but it worked. It definitely doesn't get the wife approval, but it works. The basement was hot. It was like 90 degrees in there consistently to have one S19J Pro, an L3 Plus, and an Ethereum rig running. I definitely couldn't run all of these in the basement. It would just be miserably hot in the whole house and way too expensive. But if you wanted to get started, you could totally put one of them down there. You could start with an Ethereum rig like I did because it's quiet, and kind of just go from there and see if it's something you want to get into. But before I ramble on too much longer, I'm going to wrap this video up here. If you found value in this, definitely let me know down below. Let me know what else you want me to do. I want to keep making videos, and every time you guys give me an idea, it makes it really easy for me to make a video on it because you've already thought of the hard part. And I, of course, want to share and document all this so that we can all look back someday and be like, wow, that's pretty cool stuff. So remember to subscribe, leave a like on the video, hit that bell notification, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.